You ever get one thing done and you're like, holy crap, I have a whole pile of other stuff. It always seems like the work never ends. And this can be extremely overwhelming. So we're going to talk about why continuous work is actually a good thing, but also how to overcome this feeling of being overwhelmed. Like, by gosh, the projects never stop. And also we have a birthday shout out to my special Danny. So cheers to the show. Enjoy it. And financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercise to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Good morning, everyone. And this morning, we're going to be talking about how the work never seems to end. There's no end in sight. So a little real scenario or story for you to start off with. So I've been working on a lot of tutorial videos, and I've been typing out a lot of offer pages, and I've been trying to figure out my website, my landing pages, and kind of getting all this stuff done. And it seems, so after I got all of these worksheets and the exercises and everything for the one-page life plan course that I'm really excited about, created all the content behind it. And I was so relieved when I got this part done. And then as soon as I got it done, I went over to the next thing, and I'm like making changes to the site, and I'm trying to figure out the layout and how to preview the course and how to interact with it and how to do it myself. And I couldn't help but start to feel really, really overwhelmed. I was like, I just don't know what I'm doing. And it's really frustrating. I feel very slow, and I'm sure you can relate to this feeling, and that's why I want to talk about it on this Friday. It seems like we're working, and then we get something done. I'm like, woo! And then I run into another brick wall immediately the next second. So there's got to be ways that we can handle and overcome this feeling of being overwhelmed, because it really is, at the end of the day, it is a good thing to have work. Like, I truly believe the greatest gifts that you can ever have, and he who is truly blessed, to pull a proverb, is someone who finds work that they love and people that they love. So if you get to work on your stuff and you really love your work and you love other people, this is the good thing. But the catch to it, right? Because there's not sunshine and rainbows in every single nook and cranny of life, turns out. We get smacked in the face with challenges. And so we get to have this good of continuing to keep our mind and our quality of attention focused on quality work, quality experiences, and moving forward and having a good life. But the catch is, it's tiring. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. There's a lot of the cons that come with it, with the continuous work. But I would argue that the pros outweigh the cons of, say, if we didn't work hard, say if I got that part of my business done, I move on to the next, I'm all feeling frustrated, I don't know what to do, and I just quit, just give up, and then do what? Sit at home, watch TV, watch football, about these sports teams who do not care about my future, do not care about my family, do not care about children I hope to have, or anything like that. Nothing. So why work is a continuous thing. So if you're going through it this morning, I'm glad you're here to join us today, because we got to be able to enjoy, and there's a balance to everything, right? So we're going to go over the second part of how to overcome that feeling. And I got some strategies and tips. So go ahead and stick with us throughout the episode. Why continuous work is a good thing. It's an emphasis on growth. And we talk about on this show quite a bit about, if you are not growing, it will literally feel like you're dying on the inside. So we can either have the frustration. It's crazy. We get to pick. we get to have a lot of choices, especially in this beautiful country we call America. We have a lot of choices. And we can either have the uncomfortability of figuring out new projects, say in your own business, you're trying to improve your skills. You have challenges and you have skills. As your challenges increase, we need to increase, as your skills increase, we need to increase the challenges. So let's go ahead and kind of draw what this looks like on the board real quick. Good morning, good morning. So down here we have skills. And up here we have challenges. So as our challenges, as our skills continue to increase, we need to increase our challenges. So right here is the state of flow. So this is optimal experience. We want to be in the center line. Hopefully you can see this and the glare's not too bad. Sorry, it's a nice sunshiny day. So we want to be in this alley. This is what we call balance. This is what we call balance. We're in balance, we're in flow, whatever your magical word for it is, doesn't matter, but we're being in this state of balance. And so when we improve our skills, but we don't increase the challenge, then this is going to be boredom. And being bored is actually one of the greatest forms of torture. Look at anyone who's in solitary confinement, not being able to do anything. Boredom is not what we want. It's a bad state. So we don't want to be in boredom. And additionally, up here, so if our skills don't increase and our challenges continue to increase, then we're going to feel overwhelmed. So we don't want to feel overwhelmed. We don't want to feel bored. So we need to be in the state of flow and the state of balance in here. And that's why continuous growth and having a growth mindset is so important. So for the first, why continuous work is a good thing, because it helps us stay in the state of flow. It's an emphasis on growth because we need to continue to grow the challenges, but we need to also continue to be growing our skill set. So that's what I want to put for number one. Next, we have adaptability. The only constant in the universe is, you know the answer to this, change. Change is the only constant in the universe. And we need to be able to adapt, or it will start to be very painful. It'll start to be uncomfortable. The challenges will continue to rise, and our skills will not continue to rise. So if we are not taking progressive action continuously on the things that matter to us, our work projects, our loving relationships, our friends, our experiences, if we're not being proactive on this, you'll see the life will continue to challenge us. And if our skills don't go up, then boom, we're going to be trapped in that upper echelon of overwhelmed, and we don't want that. So we need to be able to continually adapt. And this is why continue to have projects, continue to have things that take your attention and your energy and focus is actually a really good thing. Next is avoiding complacency. So if you do not want to live a mediocre life, then we need to not take mediocre actions. So on Sundays, I stopped watching football all day long because I need to take time to plan for my business. I need to take time to digest good material to read so I can have show topics. So what type of life do you want to live? And then understanding that I can really put myself in a position of growth, like we talked about, and being able to adapt and handle these challenges by avoiding complacency. Don't be complacent. Being complacent ends up being like a pitfall of negative emotion over the long haul, and that's why it made our list. Next up is resilience. There's something about being tough in this world, and I'm not saying that if you're beat up emotionally, don't go talk to somebody and get some support, and that's going to come in our next section, getting support of how to overcome this feeling of overwhelmed. But resilience is good. We need to have this desire of wanting to be more resilient. I'd be lying. This morning, I was feeling pretty exhausted. And yesterday was a bit of a tough day for me because I'm really terrible with a lot of the tech side of things. There's some things I'm good at, but I was feeling really overwhelmed. I wasn't really sure how to use this new software that I'm paying for. I'm like, man, am I wasting my money? I don't know what I'm doing. But being resilient is something that I can truly say that I'm starting to possess, even though it's like, okay, I really didn't want to do this morning show this morning, but I'm going to do it no matter what, because I promised not only myself, but I promised people who there might be somebody out there who watches this video and overcomes feeling overwhelmed. And that thought is more important to me than me being a little bit tired and not feeling good. So maybe you can spin that into what your own project is, that knowing that you are going to truly help somebody today overrides this fact that you're feeling a little off, that you're feeling a little beat up, and that it means a lot more to you to keep going and get this shit done. So some resilience is the last reason why continuous work is a good thing. Okay. So that's all fine and dandy, right, Tanner? You're like, okay, yeah, I need to hoorah, rah, let's keep pushing forward. Let's keep being better. That's all great and all, but that doesn't change the fact that we feel these emotions and it starts to get heavy. And then we start to feel pissed off or frustrated or sad. Or yesterday, there was a point where I was like, dude, I'm feeling a little emotional. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then I used this list specifically, and that's why we're talking about it on the show today. So hopefully, if you start to feel overwhelmed, try these tips and tricks, and hopefully they can help you. First off, prioritize. So we're not going to save the entire world in 24 hours. As much as we would love to believe so, we're not going to save the entire world by 7 p.m. tonight. So instead, I would say we prioritize. What is one thing that you could do today that would get you closer to your number one goal? Just write it out. Your number one thing. What is just give me one. Just give me one, lay it out, put on a piece of paper, do it on a sticky note, and say, I will forgive myself for not getting anything else done, but I promise myself I will get this done. And tell me if that helps you makes you feel better or a little less overwhelmed. Because the overwhelm is this gap of what I believe my reality should be and what it actually is. So if I believe I need to have this done, and I do not have all these things done, there's going to be a gap between where I believe I'm at and where I want to be, and my self-worth will suffer, and I start to get riled up and overwhelmed. Anxiety comes into the picture. It's pretty nasty. So prioritize, and I would say prioritize and figure out what is the number one priority. That's really, really helpful. Next is smaller steps. Break it down. So for me, I was working on the software. I was like, okay, I'm going to pick one damn section and just lock into this bad bitch, pull up YouTube University, have that. And then I have also, they have a suite of tutorial videos on the software site. Bam, bam, pick one section, play the video, and just focus on it. Give me 30 minutes. Just give me 30 minutes. And that's what I'm going to do immediately after this episode gets done is I already have the videos pulled up behind me, behind you guys and my other tabs, either way. And as soon as this is done, bam, I'm just clicking play. I'm going to have the site up and I'm just going to lock in on it. Just give me 30 minutes. That's it. Just 30 minutes. I don't need to save the world, but I just need 30 minutes. And I'm going to give myself that. And I think I did that yesterday for a couple hours. I was like, just give me 2 hours, T-Dog, just 2 hours. And I just focused in. And then afterwards, I felt a lot better. Go figure, right? Next up is time management and scheduling. So say if you weren't taking action, you break it down into a tinier step until you actually take some action. The next I would say is time management scheduling. So for me, I get probably 80 to 90% of my work done from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. I probably get like 80 to 90% of my work done. 80 to that's a big chunk of it, right? All in the morning. And so people function in different ways. Some people are really good in the morning. I personally love getting it done in the morning, and then it allows me to it doesn't have to be this way, but a lot of times people need conditions to give themselves permission to enjoy themselves in the present moment. It doesn't need to be that way. That's a story we're telling ourselves if it's any other way. But for me, that's a story I tell myself is I can't enjoy myself until I get this work, until I know that I've improved myself this morning. And then my afternoons are usually golden and beautiful, and I get to hang out with my wonderful girlfriend, or walk the dog, hang out with at the house, enjoy life, yada, yada. So time management and scheduling, kind of pick the times, especially if there's a task that's coming up, such as there's a project that you're working on and there's particular aspects of it. Say if you want to start recording stuff for social media, say if you got interviews coming up, whatever it is, maybe you just schedule it, time block it in a particular time when you know that you're most active and your brain's firing. I just personally do it best when it goes first. I get up in the morning, do the hardest thing first. Bam, just get it out of the way. Big believer in momentum. So try for yourself, see what works for you. But me personally, doing it first thing, first of the day, first part of the day has brought me the most joy and made me overcome this feeling of being overwhelmed. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning into the show this morning. Next up is Delegate or Outsource. So there's certain parts of this course that I'm really going to be pushing, the one-page life plan, over the next couple months. Once this bad boy's finished up, there was these interactive exercises and PDFs and templates and all this extra bonus stuff that I'm giving people for taking the class. And I just didn't know how to do it. So I outsourced it, and a graphic designer touched it up, made it look beautiful and all this kind of stuff. I just didn't know how to do it. And taking the time to learn it while trying to make everything else happen, still doing my coaching sessions, still manage my rental properties, helping out with my family, stuff adds up. Everyone wears the busy badge, right? So there comes a point where there are certain things where you might just need to delegate. You need to delegate them and you need to outsource them. You might need support. You might need to seek some support. And I get it. There's a lot of times where you don't want help. I don't need any help. Have you heard that? You know somebody like that? I know I got a lot of people really close to me who are like that. Nope, don't need any help. Don't need it. And then they'll just be like, oh, wow, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. This is a lot going on right now. But they'd rather feel overwhelmed than have delegate or outsource a problem. I'm sure you know people in your own sphere who are just like this. So we could choose to seek support. And that's a question we really need to ask ourselves. Am I enjoying the task? Do I want to do it myself? Can you answer that question first? Do you want to do it? And if the genuine answer is no, then maybe seeking support or delegating or outsourcing it would probably save you a lot of stress and make you not feel so damn overwhelmed all the time. Okay, cheers to that, right? So say we're done. To help feeling overwhelmed, we were just talking about good morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. We're talking about delegating or outsourcing, seeking support. And you might need to take a break. We got a lot done yesterday. It turns out we don't need to work all day long every single day. We don't have to. This is a tough balance, right? Because if I'm being blatantly honest, most of the time, if a business is not successful, they're just not putting out enough value. They're just not working hard enough. That's usually it. Anybody in any industry can really succeed if they're willing to put out the value. And it's crazy to me. I was talking to one of my business coaches, and I was like, oh yeah, I was making a couple calls. This was when I was doing exclusively just one-on-one coaching stuff before the class. And I was like, yeah, I made a couple calls. And he's like, how many did you make? I was like, yeah, I made like 20. I didn't get any clients. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I make 2,000 calls before I measure anything. I was like, 2,000, holy shit, dude. So volume is such a big part of that. I'm just not in a total rush to get to that volume. I'm going to be very consistent over the long periods of time, but I'm not going to kill myself along the way. So it's like, okay, piece by piece by piece. I'm going to work really hard in the mornings, and I'm going to take a nice break around lunchtime, go walk the dog, kind of settle my mind and stuff. Because like we were talking about, the work's always going to be here. The continuous work is always going to be there. And that's a good thing. We want work to work on, but we might need to take a break. And it's okay to give ourselves permission to do that from time to time. Just let's be honest with ourselves with how big of a break, how long of a break we need to take, but that's going to be up to you. And we can do that within time management and scheduling, kind of figure out our breaks right there. And then also making sure that we're prioritizing the right tasks and endeavors. So that's all I had for today, folks, was the work never ends. So it turns out everything's in process. It's always today. Turns out it's always today. Tomorrow never comes. And so the best time to do anything is today. And I think with these strategies, we can really help enjoy the continuous work, enjoy the next project to come by focusing on the project itself and stop worrying about having to need everything done by today. I torture myself with this all the time. And it's really helped by using these strategies to pull that back. It's not the question isn't whether you're going to feel overwhelmed. I guarantee you're going to feel overwhelmed, maybe a little bit today, maybe a little bit tomorrow, maybe a little bit next month. But the goal is to reduce it, to reduce. We're never going to run a marathon in 0 minutes and 0 seconds. So the goal is to reduce, not destroy or eliminate. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So how to overcome feeling overwhelmed. We talked about prioritizing our most priorities, breaking it down to smaller steps, time management, scheduling, delegating or outsourcing, seeking support from friends, family, therapists, taking a break. Turns out okay. And last but not least, I got to give a special shout out to my wonderful Danny. Happy birthday to her. Turning the big 3-0 today. Wow. So she's absolutely a wonderful, amazing person. If you have the privilege or the honor of getting to talk to her today, make sure to wish her a wonderful, special birthday. She's a wonderful, special person. Cheers to her, and cheers to overcoming feeling overwhelmed. Hope this was helpful for you guys. I know this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, including myself. So the work never ends, but it's actually a good thing. And we just need to strategize and use these tips, tricks, and ideas to overcome feeling overwhelmed. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys on Monday morning. I'm actually off for the weekend. Woo! Get a couple-day break. So excited about that. This is episode 358. You guys all have an incredible, incredible weekend. And in case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's use these strategies and overcome when we start to feel overwhelmed. We got this. In it together for the greater good. Let's roll. Peace.